It wasn't conscious, really. Yeah, it's probably more a feeling. And yeah, the feeling of, I guess my motivation for getting in, just the vibe of the furniture. It's like a sanctuary. It's like this healing sanctuary around you, you know. My interest in the business faded when I, went to digital, and it was the start of a big grief process for me, like letting go. It's like something had died.
Amazing, Eden. Thank you so much for accepting the invite for our very first Freedom podcast. And I'm just very excited to start recording these amazing conversations that I have with my friends, acquaintances. I had the privilege to meet amazing, unique people throughout my life. And sometimes when we have a conversation, I wish that I had recorded it. It's like so much value, and you get like so much knowledge, and it's like an inspiration almost.
Yeah.
And that's really the purpose of this Freedom podcast, to talk about entrepreneurship, family, success, next phases of life, spirituality. And that's what I really want to do. And I really want to thank you for being the very first guest on the show. So Eden Kane.
Nice. Hello. Thank you, man.
I want to ask you, could you briefly introduce yourself and how you got into furniture?
Yeah, thanks for having me in your beautiful home, man, your beautiful space, and really, nice to be here. Furniture, since I was a little kid, used to go to the markets with my dad. I was about, I don't know how old I would have been, maybe 12 or something, and didn't grow up with any money. Like, we didn't have any money growing up, and so we used to have to clean out our garages sometimes to get some cash flow happening. And so we used to go down to the market, and there was a real buzz around, the market sort of atmosphere. And we'd sell we would sell all our stuff, but I also worked out, I'd have a wander around other stalls and other market stalls, and I soon realised I must have been about, I reckon, 10 or something, but I could buy something here from another stall holder and I could move it to here and double my money. And I thought, hey, that's pretty easy.
That's what Gary V.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
he loves that. Those garage sales, right? Where he finds like a Pokemon card or something, and then he flips it. Yeah. But you were doing that with furniture and like chairs or like tables. Great.
Yeah, just anything. But at that age, it's sort of anything, because like anything of value. I always seem to have an eye for something a little bit unique, and also a good price, and that's sort of how it started. I thought, oh, this is easy, just moving stuff around. Like I said, we didn't grow up with much money, but I thought to improve my life, I'd go off to university, and I took an interest in environment and economy, like, business and the environment. Like, how can I do some good in the world, but also make some money? And I studied economics at Deakin University. I did environmental policy at RMIT as well. So I thought bringing business and the environment.
2 degrees you've done.
Yeah. Well, I didn't finish my economics, to be honest. I did 2 years of that and bombed out. I couldn't handle. I was living out of home when I was about 16, 17. I was out of home paying rent, and I was driving a Range Rover at the time then. Wow. Like I was 16, self-funded. So I sort of bought and sold all through my life, my early life. I was, bought and sold things. I used to buy Volkswagen cars, the Volkswagen cars, which are worth a lot of money now, Volkswagens, VWs.
I know. I'm aware that there's these old Holden models. They were like almost every person had those.
Yes, yeah.
Kind of like a Beetle type of car. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not aware, but.
Yeah, there's certain cars very collectible that may have once been, $2,000 worth $100,000 and that now, But I went to university, ended up consulting sort of in the conservation space, like business development and promotions in the conservation space. And I did that for about 8 years or something. And it was good fun, but I got to the point where I couldn't breathe. I just felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt really restricted by being in an office in the city and just on a computer all day. And I'd always look out the window like this. I think I had, ants in my pants or a bit of ADHD. I had to move my body and move around. And I said to my Mrs. Ingrid, who is my beautiful partner now, she said, what's my dream? And I sort of cast my dream back to my childhood, this market, buying and selling. And I thought, fuck it, I'm going to quit my job, pretty good job. I had a company car, laptop, had my own office in Albert Park.
What year was that? Around what year?
What year was that? That would have been about, transition would have been about 2004 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2004. So I just quit the job, looked online, was laying in bed, looked online and found this amazing old building down in Mornington, down the Mornington Peninsula, this old building for a pretty reasonable rent. And I signed a lease for my first shop. And that's where Rustique was born. And I didn't have any stock, but I'd always been wheeling and dealing and hunting and gathering for products. I just cleaned out my shed like I did as a kid. I cleaned out my shed, set it up nice, set it up in this building. And from day one, it sort of just, people, started getting sales from day one. And that was retail. And my driver there, like it's the buying and selling, it's the buzz. Yeah, like Gary V going into a garage sale and hunting. It's sort of that hunting instinct, the hunter.
And that's just also for the viewers, that's where Eden and I met. It was a furniture store, but a very unique one. There was it has a really good vibe, and all of the furniture is handcrafted as well. It's not like one of those huge stores you come in, it's like shipped from China or something. Like it's all handmade here in Australia from Australian wood. And had that kind of bohemian style. Yeah. You had some amazing furniture even from India and from Indonesia as well. Yeah. And I remember you showed me a closet, that Indian wooden closet. Could you tell me the story about that furniture piece?
That particular one, yeah. I'd travel to India and I'd go into these marketplaces in India and I saw, you'd see certain furniture and the heart rate would just go up, the adrenaline would kick in. You go, oh, this is so exciting to see something unique. But I always continuing with that reclaimed sort of vibe, trying to keep meaning and purpose in my business. In India, they're very resourceful. So they'd, they reclaimed some old doors. So they're really old, almost like temple style doors. And they would reclaim them and then build them into a carcass, like a cabinet carcass. Was that the ones you sort of?
It was the carcass, but I also remember you showed me, it was like a kind of like a drawer. It had you could open it up this way. Yeah. And there was like this one synchronicity that there was something written that you knew.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes, okay, I'm with you. Yeah. That was it had the Nike symbol in it and it had my surname in it.
Yeah, that's
with the mirror,
thing. And they was something
and it had like a goddess. Yeah.
It was this. It was this sort of a drawer, a closet. Not a closet. No.
Yeah, it's like a
cabinet.
A cabinet. Yeah,
it was like a cabinet where you put your dishes or something like that, and you open it up, and on the inside of the door, this was a furniture from India, right? This wasn't from Australia or anything. Yep. And inside the cabinet, your name was written.
Yeah, great memory, man. Yeah, you got great, and that's true, and that's amazing. I remember shopping for that piece, and in India, the power would go out in the towns at night, so I was buying those pieces under torchlight, and that had who was it? It's like a goddess. It was had this spiritual, like a Hindu. She was the goddess of. I think she might have been the goddess of fortune or something, I thought, oh, that's special. But I was just drawn to the piece. And it's a goddess of fortune. I forget her name. Opened up the drawer, and it had scribble that the little kids had done in Texter, just Texter sort of scribble. And it had, and it had my surname, Kane, Kane. Yeah, scribbled. And I thought, oh, must be in the right place,
Yeah, they say synchronicities are God's way of staying anonymous.
Wow, synchronicity.
When
amazing, beautiful, man.
Or you connect with someone and it's like, wow, it felt like as if I already knew this person.
Yes,
like your partner, husbands, wives. Yeah. Or things or people connect you with someone, or something happens in your life where it's just like, mate, this is crazy.
Yes, yeah.
It's just almost as if it's meant to be. It just comes in your hands and it's just yours.
Yes.
And that's that I have always been very fascinated about these things, because what are the
Yes.
chances you go to India shopping for a furniture store,
Yeah.
in a furniture,
Yeah.
and then you open the drawer and your last name is written in there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just the
Yeah.
chances of that are that's insane.
It was, yeah. It was cool. And that piece, just while I remember, there's a group of people coming in, like that had spiritual energy in it, that piece, you know, like these pieces have, you know, an embedded energy and feeling. They got a history in them, and that had some magic in it. And I swear to God, man, that there's this group of people come in, like some young yogi sort of people, and they'd all put their money together. They wanted to buy a special piece for their master. I swear, and he was a young guy, like a young guru, and that was the piece. That's what they bought. They bought that.
They bought that.
They bought that, yeah. So it went on to, you know, when I met him.
That's just so amazing. And
That's true. That's a true story.
you exported a lot of it was a mixture of things. So you had Australian handmade furniture.
Yes.
Then you had from Indonesia, which is a bit more that bohemian style, sort of like mirrors with all sorts of wood in it.
Yep.
And then you had that Indian that was kind of like the hardcore, sort of like the huge big doors, but very beautiful. Like big pieces, and it's just when you look into detail. We're gonna add some photos, and if you have still from the store,
For sure,
to really paint the picture. But like the detail inside and like the craftsmanship is just ridiculous, and it's very cheap if you take it from India, I assume. Yeah, and you can resell it. It's just like you need to know the right connections, right?
Yeah,
Is that how it goes? You just travel and you find like right partners to export it.
Yeah. Well, weirdly as well, you know, probably in that space, you know, when you're in flow, I guess, in the business, at the time it's right, these synchronicity things happen. And you're helping me remember these things. But I swear to God, the guy that I did about, I don't know, maybe 15 containers from India. Just one day, this random Indian guy walks into my shop here at Chelsea, like my first shop there. This random guy walks in and he says, "Hi, I'm from India and I'm an exporter." And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, sure, mate. I'm being a bit cynical. But I started quizzing him and, you know, seeing pictures and websites, and he was a real deal. And he was from the other side of India, like had a big factory there with maybe 200 workers. And he was just happening to be driving a hire car past my shop. He'd met with the Vast Interior, which was a big chain of shops. But he just walked in the shop, you know, like as a gift.
Randomly.
Yeah, randomly, I swear. And I think, oh, this is bizarre. So then I went and,
What really surprised me was, and this was a funny thing, so Eden's shop was always closed. Like it was literally, you were pushing like a lot of stock.
Yeah.
And this is the thing what I'm talking about, like all these synchronicities and energy. And I always believe like when you're in the right mindset, it's like there's even this saying from a Chinese warlord, Sun Tzu. He's saying like kind of something in the line of the person who's successful doesn't take action. It's almost like you're almost like attracting the right people at the right time in your life.
Yeah, amazing.
And that happens just because you're just in the right mindset.
Yes.
And Eden's store, like, because I was literally in a suburb, I almost was daily walking there on and off. It was during the COVID, so it was like during my daily walks. Yeah. I noticed like his store was always closed, and I always wanted in. Yeah. But he was pushing a lot of furniture, and I was always like, "Wow, what's happening here?" and that's you had a lot of like really good relationships with past clients and just people randomly coming in the store. Yeah. Could you tell a little bit like more about like the way you've been doing business?
Yeah, well, it wasn't conscious really. Yeah, it's probably more a feeling, and the feeling of, I guess, my motivation for getting in, just the vibe of the furniture. It's like a sanctuary. It's like this healing sanctuary around you, you know. And the sales process, I'm not a pushy sales attached sort of salesperson. It's like if you want it and you feel drawn to it, you know, you feel drawn to a magical piece and you can afford it and you should have it. But yeah, I wasn't any, it's just that lifestyle, you know, like the lifestyle that the shop was, like you said, it was closed half the time. It's the shop that never opened. And I swear to God, I was very close to the beach as we are now. And some days I'd leave my shop doors right open and people would be walking around the shop with a product in their hand to buy and no one's around. And I'd come up from the beach, I'd been for a swim and I'm dripping wet in the shop. And I walk in, they go, "Who are you?" I said, oh, can I help you, you know? Seriously, and I wasn't trying to be any cool hippie. I just said, oh, it's a hot day, I'll walk down the beach. And so, yeah, it was I don't know, I suppose, you know, the essence of the shop, it's like a sanctuary, and yeah, it had an embodied sort of energy, had a vibration in it, you know, had a vibe, which was like loving pieces, like each piece was made, had some energy in it.
It was kind of like this type of style. I mean, this piece is from China, sold in Australia, but Eden had like much nicer ones as well. Like I have to dig through my photos.
Yeah,
still have pictures and photos that I took still like in the store.
Yep.
And it was almost like a museum. Like it was very unique, and a lot of craftsy things you were selling in there.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit like what happened eventually, because you closed down the shop.
Yeah.
You secured a spot in Byron. You wanted to open up a big location in Byron Bay, which is kind of like a very spiritual hippie kind of like area in Australia.
Yep. Bit of money, yeah.
But then COVID hit. So I remember you were telling me something about the contract. The moment you signed the contract or something, or the settlement was still like it was still pending.
Yes, yeah.
But then the COVID hit, and then you end up canceling the contract or something like that. What happened?
Yeah, that was the start of a big transition, obviously, for a lot of businesses around the world. COVID, like it was a big shake-up, maybe. But yeah, I swear to God, my other dream, extending the dream, I thought I'd extend up to Byron Bay's that alternative vibe. There's it's a pretty wealthy area now. All the hippies are multi-millionaires. The hippies a hippie house is worth probably $3 or $4 million plus. And so there's this influx of lifestyle there. And I swear, around the COVID time, I had signed a contract for a small warehouse in the Byron Bay industrial estate. I'd signed the contract and I'd started paying, and I was going to go on this next spiritual journey, into the heartland. And then COVID sadly hit, and they shut down the borders, and, you couldn't cross, you weren't legally allowed to cross
the export was a big problem, yeah? You couldn't import anything like that.
Supply chain was buggered, so it was a big shake-up. Retail, people weren't allowed to shop into retail, so... Yeah, that was the start of, beginning of, a big transition. And I'm only just sort of remembering this stuff now that you've got
it's
a great
crazy.
memory.
I don't even, when you was outside, I was like, I didn't even know what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But now you're in front of me. I remember those very crazy details.
Yeah.
Like when you opened the door and your last name in it. Like I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember those things.
It just comes, It
just comes like,
it's cool. Yeah.
It's amazing. And so then COVID hit, and then in the last few years, you've been kind of like on that entrepreneurial surge, like almost a transition to something new.
Yes, yeah.
What ended up happening with the furniture? Because you still had your Instagram kind of like shop there, and you're still selling furniture. But in the end, you closed down the shop here in this area.
Yes,
and what happened in the end with the store?
Yeah, well, like I was saying, that was the transition, and ended up closing the store because it just wasn't profitable. Which was quite a difficult process. I still had several thousand followers I've built up on Instagram and social media, like loyal followers that love the brand. There's probably 5,000 or 6,000 people that I communicate to just through social media. So part of the pivot in COVID was I had to go digital, like I had to move the business digitally. So I took out some storage units, just some old shipping containers. I put all my stock in and then just sold digitally. And working from home, getting some sales going, but really the heartbeat of, having the privilege of, meeting people like yourself, and you have that instant connection. And I'm a people person, and the furniture was really an excuse to connect with people, and it's connecting with this vision and this lifestyle of, freedom and good energy in the business. But as I went into digital, it took the heart, the heart sort of died really. It's like not to put a downer on things, but, the digital, there's power in it, but it took away that humanity, where we could exchange stories about look at this piece and let's talk about the story. Can we do that digitally? Maybe we can.
All friendships are digital these days as well, right? Like you connect with someone on Facebook or you see a YouTube video and you say, hey, I liked your video. Like those are the relationships people have.
Yes.
And I think it's very normal for, if you're between like, I don't know, like 10 to 30 years old.
Yes.
We're in that area where we don't really know like how real, we still know how real relationships are, but when you were growing up, for instance, if you'd had to date someone or if you would try to hang up with friends, you had to like have like real good friendships and like say like, hey, this is when we're going to meet up, and then you kind of like shake hands, and then that's when you meet up. Like you can't like follow up or something, right? Like
that's right. Yeah.
Could you share a little bit like how when you were growing up, like how friendships were, or
Yeah, it was very more old school. Like I'm coming up to 54, so probably I was on the turning point of old school. More old school. Yeah, I met my beautiful Ingrid. Met her at a friend's party. So I was in person sort of set up, and online dating, and we were free, wild and free. In the 80s and 90s, man, just out on the bikes, sunburnt. There's kids everywhere in the street playing sport. Yeah, like now you don't see anyone. Everyone's inside nowadays. But it was a beautiful time, man. Good Aussie rock music. The music was rocking. We'd have punch-ups in the street with kids. You'd fight with the kids in the street, but you're all friends. You'd wrestle and fight, and so that was a good time. Maybe that transition, and that's what I'm exploring, and I suppose the whole world, the digitisation of everything. But really the heart of that retail shop was the human connection, and we're connecting with this piece, this tactile human experience. It's like people buying from people, so capturing that in a digital format. I'm sure it's possible with video and that sort of thing, but my interest in the business faded when I went to digital, and it was the start of a big grief process for me, like letting go. It's like something had died, like my baby, this dream, this beautiful thing that people loved. People loved the brand, and so it's like a grieving period, and I've been doing that for probably the past 2 years. It's
very challenging because like with entrepreneurship, like you put so much time, effort, and energy into like kind of an external part of yourself, which might be a business or a product or even like a digital service, and then indeed it just really becomes like a part of you. But sometimes it starts to no longer serve your interest, or you just no longer resonate with it, and then you have to let go of it. And I had a similar transition where I was doing e-commerce, and it was like kind of all online, and we were shipping products across the whole world. And at some stage it was just very volatile, and things go up and down with a big 6-figure a month business.
Wow.
But it was very stressful, and at some stage I had to let go of that, and then now I'm in the business of serving other businesses with their digital marketing. So that has been a huge transition for me, because it's been like, it's not it is online. You reach out to people online, you do like Zoom calls online, but it's much more of an people to people business. Like e-commerce is just like you sell like a kind of a product on Facebook or Google Ads. People just click, they buy. But here people buy from people, and we're dealing with bigger contracts, bigger retainers. You have to more responsibility. You have to deliver on bigger promises. That's been a huge transition for me as well. And like I had to dig deep as well to succeed in this business model. And that's what you're going through right now. And you recently mentioned that you discovered your passion for mental health, addictions, as well as home aged care. Could you tell a little bit more about that?
Yes, I've been on this quest, I'm sort of reinventing myself, and I've been on a quest. Again, I've always had this itch to do something good, something positive in the world, use my skills, in business development and communication. I think hopefully connecting and communicating and creative strategies. But I feel like the product, I've got to get excited about the story of the product, the story of the business. and to connect with it. Because if I can connect with it, I feel like I can do well with it. And I've realised the power, in your space of digital marketing, and communications is immensely powerful. That's where the power is. So I'm thinking, how do I bring these things together? So yeah, I've been looking at the cause, like businesses with purpose and cause-related businesses. And, one of the biggest, we're sort of shifting to a bit more of a service economy, I guess, like service. I think product, to be honest, you look at the hard rubbish now, there's bloody a million good things out on the hard rubbish. If you want to go shopping, you can shop there. I think we've sort of overdosed in materialism. So what's happening in Australia, you've got this massive explosion of the baby boomer generation that are retiring, so all needing care services. So I'm thinking, well, how can I do business? Who would I target? What sector? So I'm thinking of the care sector in general terms, which I look at aged care, disability care. We've got NDIS and a big revolution in disability. Environmental care, caring for the planet and also caring for our own well-being. So I'm interested in those sectors, and I've just started communicating with some leaders, business leaders in those areas that all need lead generation and,
yeah,
just to tie this in. And this is where our connections sort of,
yeah,
they need clients.
We kind of reconnected, and yeah, I gave you a little bit like a small advice, because that's like exactly like what we do at our advertising agency, Karma Media. We partner up with someone, not in the spaces that you've mentioned, but it's about like kind of like more of a technical side. Like we build a landing page, and then we send traffic from different sources, paid advertising, Google ads, Facebook ads, and then the client gets leads, and then their sales team gets leads, and then they can nourish them, and then they can close them into clients. And I really feel like you're on the right track, because you know like the sector that you want to be in.
Yes, yeah.
But now it's also about kind of like less of the woo stuff. It's like, okay, well, how can I actually be in this space and help people?
Yes, yeah.
And there's one thing that all businesses need. Like the business is the backbone of the economy. It's not the government. It's not someone else. It's the country is built on successful businesses. Because people can come in, work there. They can provide for the family, buy a home.
Yeah.
And guess what? Every single business needs
customers,
clients.
Yeah.
Or reduction in costs.
Yes, yeah.
So if you can create a package or a solution that helps them either increase revenue, or help them reduce costs.
Yes, yeah.
Hey, I found this AI tool. It can save you X, Y, Z.
Yes, yeah.
That's now an upcoming thing.
Yeah.
And then the next step is just about creating a list. Let's say Melbourne aged care providers, create like a list of 100 services.
Yes, yeah.
I'll send you a list. I'll create one list for you.
Yeah, thanks, man. It'd be great to work together on this. So yeah, like if it's a church or a school or a disability agency or an aged care facility, they all need customers. They do good stuff.
The church is done, mate. Like the church won't have any money, but like aged care, like schools, colleges, all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
They need more students. They need more older people that want to come in.
Yeah.
And at the same time, people with older parents, they need help as well.
Yes, yeah.
So it's like as an agency owner, like you connect the buyer with the seller, or the service provider with the person that needs help, and that could be that could be your next step.
Yeah.
That's just a suggestion.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah. So, I mean, where I've been at specifically, it's like I'm at the beginning of this new journey, because really the last 2 years was about, it was like letting go of the past. Like you can't open a new door until another door's closed. And
exactly.
I was hanging on to the past so much, but now this, how this has come about, this meeting, it's like the birth of something new. I've just started doing yoga, which is beautiful, and, opening this vast space That's been beautiful. I'm very interested in mental health, particularly the males, for the men in the world. And I think that's another cause that I feel really drawn to. Like, within the core sector, maybe that's, mental health and well-being is another niche within the sector that I could get really excited about. So I'm studying at the moment. I'm doing a part-time course in addiction and mental health, which is pretty intense, but it's it's a frontier. Sort of we're opening up in that area, and I think there's got to be some awesome marketing opportunities and communications opportunities in that space. And it'd be a beautiful podcasting area, just building awareness about positivity, not going too heavy and deep and dark, but stepping into the light with dreams, how mindset dreams, catching the dream as well, like where do we want to go, and what is my dream. And so I'm exploring the next dream and just putting all things in place. And I liked what we spoke about last time about the giving side, because every business, I suppose, in social media or nobody really likes to. Do we love to be sold to?
No, no one.
No, yeah.
You always want to lead with value up front, and I think, I love to look at spiritual leaders like Muhammad, Jesus, and if you look at what they have been doing, how they've been spreading the word of God, is like they've given value for free, right? Like, it started with very, very small groups, maybe 10, 20 people.
Yes.
And then a person, whoever may that be, they sit down and they share wisdom, values. Hey, here's how you should live your life. This is the value you should follow.
Yes, yeah.
And these people start to tell other people.
Yeah.
And they tell other people. That's how spiritual leaders are.
Yeah.
Being remembered for thousands, potentially tens of thousands of years.
Yeah.
Because they provide value up front. Storytelling as well is a huge element.
Yes, yeah.
Stories, analogies, and then the person gets wisdom. Yeah. It's like almost through telling a story, it's like God's way of providing wisdom to someone.
Beautiful, man. Yeah, I love it.
And this is not a podcast about like which religion is better or worse, but you can find the same trends. The Buddha, Muhammad, Jesus Christ, they've all been doing the same, providing a ton of value up front. Yep. Communities. They also had a small team of disciples or people that were helping them spread even more word. Yeah. Right. So that's a beautiful thing. And even now in the business, like all I'm focusing on is just relationship buildings, really trying to connect with people on a deeper level than as opposed to, oh, hey, here's a landing page, just opt in and we'll give you a call and we'll close you on the call. Like that's really not like how I want to do it. And it's just, it's where the world is so divided now. You've got the online world. Yeah. And even now I'll show you clips. There are podcasts that are done through AI.
Oh, wow.
So
really?
There's an AI person there and the AI person here.
Really? Oh, wow.
And it sounds still very robotic, but it's just the first version of AI.
Yeah, yeah.
So at some stage, like, I don't know, I don't even think people will be even on podcasts, or there's nothing going to be human about the interactions online. So as like what I'm trying to do is completely the opposite, is going like back to the real world where connecting with people, like doing the stuff. And I think you're on the right track with what you're doing. Yeah,
thanks, man. Yeah, that's about. So I'm thinking, what can I bring of value? And we spoke last time. I saw you about about that, giving, that unattached sort of giving, like giving without any expectation of return. And I think, specifically in the care industry, like I want to give something of value just to make the connection, to make the connection. So that's part of my strategy that I'm, working up at the moment. And storytelling you mentioned, I think that's everything. I met a guy in the shop once, he said something to me in marketing. He said the future of marketing belongs to authentic storytelling.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think just telling stories, authenticity's a word, thrown about, but keeping it real. And can AI do that, like is there true authenticity in automation. You know what I mean? It's not going to have that edge, man. You know, it's not going to have that human
edge. I
edge.
don't think so. It will never be able to replace real estate. That's number one. But because it's a genuine threat to our industry, like things becoming more and more automatic. It's like more faster. Everything is almost like a seamless experience online. So and as our business is just fully online, like how are you competing with that? And I'm thinking of like real estate, genuine connections, genuine communities.
Yeah,
that's what's going to give us the advantage. And I also wanna ask you for like future fathers, already like existing fathers out there.
Yeah,
you have 3 beautiful children, a wife. You've been running the business as well. Could you explain like the kind of the family dynamic and also the challenges that come with being a father and having all that responsibility and the financial burden that comes with it?
Yeah, we're whole beings, and really, my kids made me, like having kids wasn't really planned. And at first when I found Ingrid was pregnant, I thought, where's my passport? I'm out of here. I'm out of the country. But sometimes the things, I fear the most are the things I most want. And having kids has been the most beautiful, amazing, most difficult thing going, but also the most beautiful and meaningful and purposeful thing, having a family nest. I got 3 beautiful kids, and so I suppose my 16-year-old now, he asked me the other day. He said, can I ask you a deep question? He's in the kitchen, getting his breakfast organised. I said, go for it, man. I love deep, And he said something like, what do you think's worse, taking action and failing, or not taking action and living with regret? I thought, oh shit, that's a pretty powerful question. And I think about that almost every day, about, the pain of regret, not taking action on things. So what I'm getting at there as a father, I'm a role model for my kids, like they're watching my moves. Like if I'm living in fear or, self-doubt or fear, that's part of life sometimes. But I think the greatest gift I can give my family is Dad's got the balls to go for what he loves. He's got this itch to do something purposeful and meaningful, and Dad's going to go for it, and you can see maybe he's going to fail now and then, but I thought the worst is I could shrivel into fear and darkness through not trying. So that's my greatest, I suppose, one of the greatest challenges I feel as a father, just to be a role model, to be a positive role model. We've got a beautiful nest, man, and cash flow is always a challenge because it's, what my needs, it's about my needs, but I'll
also the kids and wife.
The kids and the missus.
Your wife isn't working, correct? She's been or on and off a little bit, but you've been the main provider.
The main provider,
for many years.
Yeah.
So that's been I assume that's always like the challenge, I think. And as a man, I believe like that you have to be able to do that.
Yes, yeah.
I think right now what in our society what a lot of is happening is the man can't provide for the full family just by himself.
Yes, yeah.
So it's the wife and the man has to go to work.
Yeah.
To be able to afford basic living.
Yeah.
But now with the online skills, like you can make 10, 20, 50, 100, even $1 million a month.
Wow.
Automating things.
Yeah.
And that's why on my channel as well, actually Eden, you've been the inspiration for me to start creating the course.
Wow, yeah.
Because you were asking me questions back then.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, this is actually really cool. I really like it. I'm gonna start recording and start creating slides and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing like on this channel as well. If you're interested in advertising, starting your own agency, the full course is on the channel as well. You can make 100K with that course working for an agency or another business. So and like just want to ask you, what are your thoughts on the family dynamic where the man provides the most?
Yeah, well, it's a good question, and I wanted to confirm, like, yeah, under that pressure, because we've released the old business and, cash flow, we had savings, and they've sort of diminished, as I've been on this search, the savings have gone down, and the other side, cost of living's obviously through the roof, globally, I think cost of living's a big problem. So Ingrid has gone back to work. That's been that's been a blessing and a challenge to balance everything. But yeah, we need that extra income. So Ingrid's doing some casual work now, working hard and supporting the family because the kids are getting older. But yeah, it's all around. I mean, we were old school because our dads worked hard and the mums kind of stayed at home. That was what we grew up with. That was more an old school model of family life, and everything's changing now, man. And women are working and trying to juggle families, or some are missing the opportunity to have kids, and some some even we're all trying to find our place in the balance, the yin and yang, the balance of everything.
But your kids are like grown up right now.
Yeah,
when they were little, when they were just being born, your wife was with them, right?
Yes, that's right.
And you were still working.
Yes,
back in the was it back in the city, or you were already running?
No, I was in the business. Yeah, running Rustic, the business.
Rustic. Yeah. So and I feel like that's been amazing, because like right now I just can't imagine, let's say my wife and I, we're gonna have kids.
Yeah.
Like, how's that gonna look like when, let's say, I would still have a job in the city, my wife had a job in the city.
Yeah.
And then we have children. Like, that doesn't make sense, because now we need to go somewhere, sit in the box.
Yes.
And then the child, when it grows up, like 1-2 years old, the child goes into another building, into a box.
Yeah.
So then the whole family is divided. I'm sitting somewhere in a box.
Yeah.
It's called the box life, right?
Yeah.
Like you get outside of the house, you step in the car, which is a box.
Yeah,
you
true.
drive to the office, which is a box.
Yeah.
You sit in the room, which is a box.
The box.
The box life.
Life.
And then
Yeah.
and then everyone in the family is living that life, but no one is united.
Yeah.
So that's for me, that's been like a very big and an achievement, and something I'm very proud of, is that my wife is working like 1 day a week.
Yeah.
And then we've got this business online.
Yeah.
And something that I want to push and inspire people as well.
Yeah. And it's an investment, it's priorities, what your priorities are in the world, in your life, And, digital and marketing, I'm sure, can give, create that space and that flexibility to work from anywhere. So, but I think investing in your kids, in family life, for me, was a massive priority. And we put probably 13, 14 years into the kids to get them established. And they're beautiful kids. They're well-adjusted, caring, loving, compassionate, creative kids,
Your son is doing the ice bath every morning, which I think is such a powerful habit as a man. Just, when you were young, go to the gym, start doing like push-ups, ice baths. Did he start doing it himself, or you kind of like gave him a little bit of push?
He's into riders. He's 16 and he's a bit of a freak, bit of a fitness freak, but he's obviously picking up the energy of our house. We haven't pushed him into, he's quite a sporty kid, but he's into this MMA fighting, which is quite brutal, and my missus hates it, but he's really drawn to it. He's not an aggressive kid, but he's very focused. He's an incredibly focused guy. With his own money, he bought an ice bath, and he sets his alarm for 6 a.m. He's out in the garden. He does a little prayer as he steps into the bath with his beanie, and he's in the garden. He's not like this on YouTube filming himself to be, hey, how cool am I? He doesn't like the camera. He'd smash it. If I tried to film it, he'd smash it. But he's got like a 10-pack, and he's working at a local restaurant on the beach here. He's got savings in the bank. He goes to a little private boys' school in the area, doing very well at school. Not freakily, but very disciplined. And he reads the recipe on whatever he eats. He reads.
As a father, how have you felt that you have influence? Of course, you've had a business, and do you feel like that has contributed, or he's just like naturally very driven?
Yeah, I'm sure it does, man. You know, in the subconscious, you know, they're watching, and that's to go back to my previously what I'm saying. They're watching every move, they're feeling every move in the subconscious. You know, they're taking it into the subconscious, and that's where the pressure for me is. It's like, oh man, I'm on stage here. You know, these guys are taking it, but also I want to expose them that it's not always bloody theme park. You know, sometimes there's hard times in life. There's, you know, things in the growth of things born and they grow, and sadly, you know, things die and decay, and then something's born again. You know, it gives rise to new life. So I don't want to, haven't been shielding the kids from hardship as well, you know, and
Everything starts where it ends, or ends where it starts, whichever way you like. Someone, someone is born, and then they die. Then the children go through the same process.
yeah,
Everything, even like plants, grass, animals, ideas, businesses, everything comes and goes.
maybe the earth ages, you know,
Even the
life
earth
ages,
ages.
different.
Planets, the sun, after like, I don't know, 10 billion years, it's also the chemical energy in the sun is gone as well.
Yeah, right.
It won't shine anymore. So we'll.
So it's like impermanent. I think the Buddhists
nothing
talk
is.
of
Yeah,
impermanence. You know, nothing's permanent.
Nothing is permanent. So that's why just being alive is such a blessing. And just doing this first session with you, I really enjoyed it, and
it's awesome, man.
it was amazing. It captured those conversations that we always had.
I hope so.
And it was crazy how in depth, like I was remembering some of the things that you showed me in the past that I wasn't even thinking of. So
yeah,
I think I really thank you. And do you have any final words for the audience if they want to pursue entrepreneurship, freedom, family? What would you say?
go for it. You know, it's all it's a windy journey, and it's all a reflection of like my inner world. You know, my inner belief, and my inner world's reflected in the outer world. Look after yourself, align yourself with good people, you know, attract good people. And I guess, listen to those, you know, the synchronicity and things, that's powerful. How we first met, I knew when I first met you, you know, random person, I thought there's a connection there. So rather than, I guess it's not forcing things, like allowing things to happen. And if it's true for you, if your vision's true, which I'm sure it is, just believe in it and go for it, you know.
Amazing, Eden. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
This was a crazy podcast. If you found value in this video, if you want to ask some personal questions for Eden, where potentially can they find you online?
I've still got my furniture up. So it's Rustique Furniture. So RUSTIQUE. Rustique.
I'll leave it in the description. Where people can check out and say hello to you.
Yep.
And as always, if you found value in this one, like, subscribe, drop a question down below. Helps boost up the algorithm for the next viewers. And I can't wait to do many more of these podcasts as well. Very excited about this.